Hey! Now it's only been 1 day since I planted that, and already there's signs that possums have been getting to it and starting to eat those branches. So I'm putting something up there just to stop those possums, keep those jerks off my mandarin tree. But today what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I planted that mandarin tree using some techniques from it's kind of like the foremost authority on citrus at the moment. His name is Ian Tollett. We're going to use some methods of his, as well as some other things I've just took off the internet, which is online, to remedy my horrible soil, because the soil here is horrible and I don't want the roots just to grow in a ball where the soil is good after I've planted. I want it to be able to spread out through the good soil from planting, like with all the compost and all the nutrient rich soil I use when planting it. I want it to be able to branch out through that and into the crappy horrible soil I currently have now. And there's a way you can do that so that the roots don't just stay where the healthy soil is. It spreads out like it would have naturally. So we'll kind of cover the two techniques, Ian Tollett's methods of planting onto a mound, spreading the roots out, and a few other tricks he's used, as well as some other things I've learned, just in case you've got crappy soil like I do. Forgive the sounds of trucks, I'm kind of quite close to a main road. Anyway, let's get into that. Here you go, I'll stand here, there you might see my daughter playing on her scooter as I speak, better than just look at my mug the whole time. Now the first thing I did when digging these holes, or when planting this plant, was dig the hole, but you've got to make it at least 3 times the size of the base or the pot that the plant came out of. So in my case, because of the soil was so bad, like I mentioned before, you have to then mix 50-50 good soil with the original soil. And when I say good soil, in my case I got proper pottings mix, as well as mixing in other things like compost. I had chicken manure, I put some fish emulsion in there, all the stuff to make that really, really good and healthy, just to give the roots a good start. But then I mixed it in with the original soil so that when the roots grow, they're going to be used to the original soil, and then when it goes outside that kind of diameter of healthy new soil we've put in there ourselves, it's going to be able to keep going through the clay, loamy, horrible soil, instead of just being in a ball, kind of like as if it was in a pot. Because if you just fill the bottom of the citrus tree with amazing soil, the roots are just going to keep circling around there, and it's going to be basically the equivalent of it being in a pot, which you don't want. You want it to be familiar with the crappy soil around it. I'm saying crappy, but that's, in my case, it's crappy. You want it to be familiar with that soil so that it will just keep going through that soil, instead of just staying bound at the bottom. Okay, now tip number 2, or step number 2 I guess, is soak the roots before planting it. So you want to soak the roots. In my case, I used fish emulsion again, just because it's really good, it promotes root growth. So I soaked it in there, and that will also help get rid of all of the soil around, that kind of compacted around the base of the tree, because you want to loosen up those roots, because when you plant it, you want to spread them all out, kind of outwards facing, a bit like a upside down umbrella, kind of a right way up umbrella. You want those roots all pointing outwards. So by soaking it, you're able to shake it up, loosen all that soil away, and also give it a chance to soak up those good nutrients and food, whatever you want to call it, inside that water. And then once that's done, when you plant it, the first thing you want to do at the bottom of the hole you've dug, you want to make a mound. And that mound, put the best organically rich plant root food, compost, whatever you want to call it, at the bottom. I mixed in manure. You may have seen I put a little ball of manure right at the top. Might be a bit too strong, but it was fine. And then you put the roots on top of it and splay them out over that mound. That way, as it's grown, it's already all spread out. But then the top of where you see the ball of roots, separate the top ones, because once you've put a layer of soil around the bottom roots, then you want to lay the top roots on top of it again, so it's kind of like lying on the blanket of soil, and then again loosely put soil on top of that and push it down with your hands as you go. You see I was giving them little gentle pats, punches almost while doing it, and that's so that you're still allowing air in between the roots, because soon afterwards you're going to drown it with water, and that's going to kind of help settle the soil. Okay, so now your plant is planted. We'll quickly recap. So you've made a mound of soil, you've planted your plant on top of it, you've spread the roots outwards, layered them if possible, like with root then soil. That's optional. It's better if you can do that, even if you just have one layer, like making the difference between the bottom roots and then some top roots, because the roots in citrus trees, they do like to grow quite close to the surface, which is why you may want to use mulch. So going on to mulch after you've planted it, put a lot of mulch around it, because like I said, you don't want the sun to damage the roots growing near the top of the soil, or to dry them out. So if you protect them with a layer of mulch, it will protect that top soil and also help keep the soil moist after rain. You want to trap that water in there. And another thing regarding rain, if you're not getting much rain in your area, like if you do live in a bit of a dry area, then some people, they do kind of make the top of the soil slightly concave so that the water can pool into that area around the base of the tree and then soak down that way. I've never had to do that myself, but I have seen online that's what some people do. Okay, now your tree is ready to go, so you're wondering to yourself what to do to feed it. So once a month, feed it with something quite robust, like chicken fertilizer or chicken manure. The pelletized version is the best. And also you'll need something with the 14 trace elements that will help microbial growth in the soil, and also make sure that the fruit are not missing anything, because it's like a rounded diet. You need something with those 14 trace elements. Most food composts or plant foods or fertilizers, whatever you want to call them, they have those in there, but just check the packet before you buy it. So yeah, feed it once a month with those things. Water it, but not too often. Depending on where you live, I can't, it's different for everyone, so yeah, just Google that for how often you need to water it for where you are. And also, if you're having trouble like me with possums or whatever, raccoons, whatever crazy critters live in your part of the world, then you may want to do some sort of protection around it. Now, what I've got there at the moment is way too skinny, but just temporary until I get to the shops to get some better fencing just to keep possums away from it. But yeah, that would do for now, because yeah, I woke up this morning and like all the small branches off the bottom have already been eaten just in one night, which is horrible, so I don't want that. But guys, if you found this video helpful, then let me know by clicking the thumbs up like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips or suggestions that I've missed out on, because I only know what I know, but there's a lot I don't know. So yeah, let me know in the comments. But guys, until I see you next, have a great week. Take care of yourself, and I will catch you next time.